Thanks, everyone. My name is Patrick Starling. I'm the Director of Sales Engineering at FactSet. And one of the things we want to talk about today is the journey to building true multi-vendor workflows. But because when we talk about what's the journey to the next-gen financial firm, a lot of the reasons we're here today is about how do we put our apps together, how do we create open ecosystems. So let's talk about how we put multi-vendor workflow solutions today. So at FactSet, we like to talk about scaffolds, and we think of things like OpenFin and Finsample as a scaffold. And the reason for that is really the whole promise of these apps. I can take many things, put them together, and they will be stronger than the sum of their parts. So we think that's really powerful because at FactSet for years, people have asked us, how do I make FactSet talk to the other apps that are on my user's desktop? They have a lot of great things. How do we put those together? So we've always wanted to enable that, but there's a lot of challenges to getting apps to work together. You have different user experiences and different GUIs across apps. You have different underlying data and content across all those applications. You have differences in symbology across apps and data sets. And of course, what's the willingness of third party to participate in what we would call a federated solution? So at FactSet, we've been dealing with these challenges for many years ourselves. We've built a lot of apps. We've made some acquisitions, so we've acquired a lot of apps. Some of you may be familiar with things like FactSet Directions, a little old school, but served its time for a long time. When we moved into the real-time area in the early 2000s, we built this handy tool called Marquee. It had ticker blasting, it had components and widgets, how to bring the two things together. Well, we went through a few iterations, but the modern version looks a lot like this. It's a sleek web container, runs in your browser, built on HTML5, uses Vue and React and WebSockets and all of the great web tech that we're here to celebrate at FinJS. And that, for us, supports our 90,000 users. We're rolling out 15,000 users at Bank of America currently. And the underlying tech supports millions of users across our digital solutions portals that we have today. The next thing we're going to be working on is how do we do the same thing for the trading workflow? How do we extend our portfolio management platform to our OMS and our EMS using web tech and using containers? How do you pass a model trade to a compliance engine? How do you pass that on to your OMS and EMS? And how do you pass those trades back to update in real time on the PM's desktop? So that's next gen for us. So what are the lessons that we can share from building multi-component workflows to those of you who are looking to build multi-vendor workflows? Well, it begins with a careful consideration of the who, the how, and the where. So first thing, we have to think about the types of users that we're targeting. Are we targeting researchers and analysts? Are we targeting traders? Are we targeting risk managers? They have different expectations. They're used to working with different tool sets. What's the how? What's the UX and the UI that we're looking to put in front of the user? What's the data and content they need to do their job? What's the context of passing through different reports and panes? And how do I reuse a lot of this if I'm going to take my app and deploy it to different users down the road? If we start with research today and move to trading tomorrow, how do we do all that without rebuilding? And where are my users going to be using this? Are we deploying to the desktop, 20 monitors on a trade desk? Or are we talking about an analyst or a PM who's on the road, on their phone, or people who are working on tablets and mobile devices? And the thing we think is really powerful about Scaffold Technologies is they let all of the factories live in the clouds. What do we mean by factories? So it's all the places you can go to get your content. This could be your first-party content in-house. It could be third-party content from a firm like us. It could be analytical tools. It could be cognitive tools to help drive insights and help drive actionable intelligence for users. It could be workflow solutions. It could be services. You used to have to bring all these things in-house and build them yourselves, but the scaffolds allow you to build solutions on a loosely coupled basis on the user's desktop. So that's really powerful stuff. And so when you're actually thinking of how do I take this and put real solutions on my user's PC or their Mac, how do I do that? Well, we like to liken it to building the Lego Millennium Falcon. So why is that? It's not just because we like Legos, but when you have all these different services and components at your disposal, it's like having a giant pile of Lego bricks. And if you want to go and build the big fancy Millennium Falcon, well, Lego would normally give you an instruction manual. But in the world of building multi-vendor solutions, there are no instructions to doing this. We're on the cutting edge of new things here. So how do you go on that journey? Well, we've been working with a lot of clients on this, and there's a couple pieces of advice that we'd like to share with folks. So the first thing is, it starts with great devs and BAs. You guys know the tools you have internally. You know where you want to go. You know the users you want to target. Next thing is you need a scaffold. Take a great scaffold like OpenFin or Finsample. It's an amazing basis to start to build on. Look for partners, such as a FactSet, because we can give you complete workflow solutions, content, analytics, technology, and services that you can build around. And if you're new to going on the digital transformation journey, grab a great partner like an Adaptive or a Giant Machines or a Scott Logic who can help take you on the digital transformation journey, take you on the digital path. Once you have your team, let's gather those user stories. What are the users that we're going after? And then, are there ways that I can bootstrap my solution? Do I need to build the next full quote? Do I need to build the next portfolio view? Could I take complete solutions from someone like a FactSet and build my IP around it, the things that are different for us? And then, how do we make all those things talk to each other? Well, leveraging symbology and data concordance as a service is a great way to get all your apps and all the components to speak the same language and speak with the same IDs. So let me show you a couple quick things that we're using these technologies for in-house today to give you a couple other ideas. Working on releasing a tool internally called QuickLaunch. This is a great little widget. It runs on your desktop. It's built on top of Electron. We're deploying this to our support desk. So it sits on the support desk for each user. It's hooked into all of our data repositories and our CRM behind the scenes, so they can do things like look up a user. Once I find a user, we can blast it into the widget, and now we can start doing support activities like pulling up their profile. I can log on as them. I can co-browse as them to help to provide support. We also have a lot of legacy tools, though, that still live in a browser, things like Salesforce. How do I get from a browser down to an Electron widget? Well, we've built a URI handler, and what it does is it passes things down, parses them, passes them onto the bus, and then it pops right into our app. So a great way of bringing together our legacy web apps with the fun new things that we're doing on the desktop with containers. Next thing, let's talk about some user scenarios. So we've been building some technologies internally we call named entity recognition. So in this example, we're grabbing a news story, we're passing it over the bus, over to our named entity recognition service. It's parsing the story, pulling out all the names, and most importantly, it's finding all the symbols, all the symbology that makes up what it is that we're looking at. And it automatically sees that this story is about Apple and helps draw an insight from that and takes the user immediately to Apple within FactSet. But let's do something different. Let's actually pass some texting, because this doesn't have to be about scanning news. If we paste in some text like, Elon Musk is the CEO of Tesla, that can also speak to the service over the bus, grab the symbology, take you directly into FactSet, and show you Elon Musk's page. Now let's get rid of the NER piece. We don't need that. It can live on the bus. Let's do something different. Let's say that we're hooked up to a chat, and we're passing in something like, speak to David Block about Microsoft. So what we can actually do, pass that over to the bus, pull out all the names, all the entities that we're looking at, and start doing really interesting things. We can pull you right to David Locke's page, right in his Symphony chat, so you can start talking to him about his Microsoft ideas. We can show you the history of his ideas in FactSet, show you all the research he's done, and also show you all about Microsoft directly in FactSet. It gets the users to where they want, quickly gets them to the places and things they need. So those are really cool things that we've been working on ourselves. Now, to help our clients get started working with OpenFin, in the next couple of weeks, we're going to be releasing an OpenFin Bootstrap Kit. And the idea of this is we're going to package up OpenFin along with FactSet Web, deploy it out. You can install it, deploy it out to your users. We're going to make native use of the OpenFin containers. You can take our different components, put them out, use them just like OpenFin allows you to do. We're going to put our symbology and context passing on the bus. You can see how we manage this stuff internally through all of our different apps that are part of FactSet. And then you can also hook up with an open source tool we're releasing to let you watch the bus and sort of learn what's going on behind the scenes. And this is really what we think is the future of next-gen financial solutions. It's all about how you can take the factory, like FactSet, take all of our content, analytics, technology, and services, and take our user experiences and put them on your users' desktops, or take parts of them and put them on a scaffold, or take the same data, put it in your data lake, put it in your data puddle, however big your data repository is, build your own experiences on that same data. Be consistent with the data your users are seeing. And then take those same experiences you build, put them back on the scaffold, and if you don't want the data to go in your data lake, take it as a service, and you can put your data back into FactSet to use our analytical tools as well. So to wrap up, just a couple quick things. First, we're going to be releasing that Bootstrap Kit in the next 6 to 8 weeks. Check it out. It'll be really exciting. Love to talk to you about it. Coming soon, we're going to be releasing our full trade management suite in web, built with Scaffold Technology. We're also looking for partners, clients, or other vendors who want to work on really cool cutting-edge technologies using all this stuff. Please come and talk to us. We're in the back. And then 3 quick parting thoughts. The first is a lot of our users use Office. They use Excel. How does that work in a world of Scaffold and open technologies? How do we bring in things like voice, AI, and ML into these federated solutions? And then lastly, how do we take these solutions out on the devices that are in our hands all the time? So that's what we've got. Please come by and talk to us, and hope you have a great FinJS, everyone.